Okay, I made a couple of adjustments to how this is set up after, breaking stuff. The first thing that I did is on this one, I did adjust my values according to some suggestions. It now comes on at 27.2 and shuts off at 24.2. Anytime the turbines are going, it's actually, it stays on a lot more. What was happening before with my higher values is it would cycle almost instantaneously. Then I set up both of my solid state relays on CPU coolers. Now they'd been running the same way as I had it set up yesterday, just dangling in the air so that it didn't set my board on fire. And whenever I started, this relay was very warm. After attaching it to the cooler, as much as you guys can imagine, the heat sink is, it's warm, but it's not hot. Whereas I couldn't even hardly touch this thing earlier. That's all under control. Did the same thing for this one. I also see now these relays are only good for 32 volts on the input side, which doesn't really work very well running off of a 48 volt battery. I broke the relay that I was running yesterday because of that. So what I've got changed is I ran this controller off of just 1/2 off of these two batteries back here. So it's only on a 24 volt circuit pulling off of that bank. I am going to have to do something different than this controller. I like the way it was working for a while, but I don't anymore. I'm also going to have to get some more relays because I dropped that in my switching around, and now it doesn't work. On top of that, we just actually saw all the magic smoke come out. I think it's because my bank got up to above 32 volts. Let's go ahead and turn that turbine off. Hey, we can see one fail in real time. Alright. Killing a Healy. That one was already broken anyway. Bummer. Anyway, what was happening with this thing, see, like now that I've got the power shut off, it is just cranking out the power. But if the turbine's running, it won't grab any juice. Look at it go. What that's going to do is sink my battery dry, so we're going to disconnect it. That's unfortunate, but it wasn't working anyway. Whenever it was connected to that thing, it was like my battery voltage over here would be 50, but it was still letting some voltage through the switch. It was showing like 40 volts. Anyway, so one more relay down. We will, that's kind of neat because it's still pulling voltage off of it. I think it's pulling, that's got to be pulling off of that. That earth residual. I don't know. Let's disconnect that and see what happens. No change. It's just capacitors or something in there. But anyway, like I was saying, whenever the turbine is running and it's putting power into the battery bank, this thing doesn't run. It doesn't. It leaves it flat zero. As soon as the turbine shuts off, if the wind dies, or like earlier, I put the brake on the turbine and stopped it, and then it starts cranking out 1,000 watts, which did not seem to work very well for this thing. I might have to come up with a different switch. I'll have to come up with a different controller. We're gonna have to come up with a different way to get the 48 volts from here to my inverters over here. Don't know how I'm going to pull that off just yet, but more updates to come. I can't say the 24 volt side, that is working way better. I'm even running, you know, all three of the inverters over here off of this one switch, and it's handling it just great. Now, one note I will put about these inverters is the higher the voltage is, the more the output. They pull something like 8.5 amps a piece, and it figures whatever wattage it can pull at that amperage and whatever voltage you're running. So it's, even if I've got, you know, all the turbines going on a 24 volt circuit with all three of these going right now, it's only pumping out 700, 800 watts. So they don't use enough power. I'm just gonna have to go ahead and bump it up to a better set of inverters, or a better inverter, something that's more capable of using all the power created off of my 24 volt bank. Now, if you guys have any suggestions for inverters to look at that would be appropriate for my arrangement here, again, basically what I'm doing is I've got to have something that can burn off every watt I produce. Electricity is cheap, so it's not really a big deal to try and, you know, harvest it to make my bill go down or anything like that. I just have to burn it off. That's what these things have been good for so far. But they don't work so well at 24 volts. No. Suggestions would be appreciated. And if anybody's got any ideas for how I can get this power reliably reduced from 48 volts to 24 volts, that would be helpful. And I know that there's buck converters out there that I keep being told I should look at, and I'm having a hard time finding one that seems like it's going to be able to handle the wattage and amperage that I want to throw at it, while also, you know, going from 48 volts to 24 volts. So suggestions there. Y'all want to link me to a product you have in mind, I would appreciate that. And everybody have a wonderful day.